to you all. I'm Bhavika and I welcome you all from our Knowledge Transmission Center. Today we would be talking to you all about our product CoQ Energizer. So what is CoQ Energizer? It is basically a cellular bioenergizer. So cellular bioenergizer is basically cells getting energy. So we all know our body requires energy for a day-to-day processes that takes place. So at the same way, every cells, there are about 30 to 60 trillion cells. So each and every cell, to perform at its best, it requires energy. So CoQ Energizer is basically a supplement that gives energy to the cell. Why does a cell require efficient energy? About that we will look at it in our further slides. So before starting with the session, as usual, we keep reminding you that this is registered under copyright. So while you're sharing, while you're subscribing, when you're sharing, when you're forwarding it, or when you're uploading it on your page, make sure that you do it in its original form. So like I told you, today we are going to talk about our product CoQ Energizer. So CoQ Energizer as a very important ingredient, a very important nutrient called CoQ enzyme. So what is this CoQ enzyme? We will talk to you about it. So this CoQ enzyme, basically it's called as a coenzyme Q. Coenzyme Q is basically, Q10 is basically a nutrient. It was found out in the year of 1957. So since then, there are like hundreds of scientists who have been working on this nutrient coenzyme Q10. So what is so important about this nutrient coenzyme Q10? So since 1957, lot of people are doing a research. They've been wanted to see what exactly this nutrient is, how exactly this nutrient is so powerful. So among them these are the three scientists who have like spent their entire life only by doing the best research they could do on this nutrient. In fact, the scientist called Dr. Folkers has called it the essential bionutrient. Every cell requires essential energy so that it can perform at its best. Hence, Dr. Folkers has also called it the essential bionutrient. Dr. Emily Brisnakov has called it a miracle nutrient. She has done so much of research on this nutrient, and she found out that this nutrient can also be called as a miracle nutrient. This nutrient is so beneficial for our body. Dr. Peter Mitchell has also called this a wonder nutrient. So if you go to see, a lot of scientists have done a lot of researches and they come up with terms for this nutrient. One has called it a essential bionutrient, another one has called it a miracle nutrient, and Peter Mitchell has called it a wonder nutrient. In fact, he also won a Nobel Prize for this. Dr. Emily Brisnakov has in fact written a book on this. So if you go to read about this book, don't go read about the scientific theory, but see how exactly this nutrient plays an important role on our body. So like I told you, coenzyme Q10, it is something similar to a vitamins. When vitamins rejuvenate our body, gives energy to each and every cells of our body, coenzyme Q10 is exactly a similar nutrient that gives energy to our cells. It has important functions, that is to produce ATP. ATP is basically a adenosine triphosphate. When our cells require energy, our cells get energy in the form of ATP. So it helps in producing ATP. It has an important role as an antioxidant. We all know our antioxidant plays an important role, especially in protecting our body from harmful oxidation of free radicals that takes place in our body. So these free radicals that usually goes through this oxidation process can become hazardous. So to avoid that, antioxidant is very important, and also in protecting a endothelial layer. So it also has a endothelial function. Basically endothelial layers are basically if you go to see a blood vessels, the layer in the blood vessels or lymphatic vessels, that layer is called as endothelial layer, and it is important to protect this layer. So coenzyme Q10 plays an important role, not just to produce ATP, not just to play an important role as antioxidant, but along with that it helps in keeping our endothelial layer protected. So for every cell in our body, like I told you, requires energy to perform at its best. Then cells have energy, skin have cells, heart muscles have cells. In fact, our RBC, a blood contained cell, every organs have cells. So if our cells have to be very active, if they have to perform at its best, it requires fuel. So how do our cells get this fuel? It gets fuel in the form of ATP. How does ATP is produced? It is produced only because of this nutrient coenzyme Q10. So adenosine triphosphate is the biochemical way to store energy and use energy. So not just for using energy purpose, but also it helps in storing energy. Why does our cells require, why does it require to store energy? So that sometimes when we fall sick, or when our body is in a stress factor, when it undergoes a stress, or our body does not have enough energy, the energy that has been stored can be used to give us energy during when our body goes under a traumatic situation. So CoQ10 in CoQ Energizer helps mitochondria during energy production. So like I told you, our CoQ10 plays an important role in giving energy in the form of ATP. So how does this ATP is generated? Because of mitochondria that is present in the cells. So mitochondria helps in producing energy in the form of ATP, and CoQ10 helps mitochondria produce energy. So our cells have mitochondria present in them. So that's why our product, our supplement CoQ Energizer has this nutrient called CoQ10. So CoQ10 is naturally present in some of the food. It just like I told, it is an essential nutrient, of course, but it is not just our body produces it, but in fact even some of the foods that we eat also contain this nutrient, but it is contained in a very small amount. For example, heart, liver, kidney, these are organs. These are usually seen in animal products, soya or oil or sardines, that comes from the fish family, and peanuts again from the nuts family. So of course these food items do have CoQ10 in them, but because of the processes that takes place in our body, after ingesting food, digestion of food and metabolism that takes place within our body, during this process we might lose this nutrient that we get from the food source. Another reason we might lose this nutrient from the food source is because of the chemicals that has been used in the animal products. A lot of these animal products have been fed with steroids, or a lot of chemicals have been added. So during this process we might lack getting CoQ10. That's why it is important to take it in a supplement form. And It is an essential bionutrient that is found in every limb, blood and nearly all the cells. That's why it is important that this nutrient is present in all these parts of our body. It might be our blood, it might be our lymph, or it might be in our cells. It requires CoQ10 to be in sufficient amount. So if our food is not giving us that sufficient amount of CoQ10, what is the best option to get this nutrient in our body? It is only through supplement form, and that's why we bring to you CoQ Energizer. So like I told you, CoQ10 nutrient is present in every cell of our body. If you go to see, this is how our cells are present. This is, if you take out of 30 to 60 trillion cells, if I take one cell and put it under the microscope, you get this image. So if you go to see the red mark that has been made, this shows where mitochondria is usually present in our cell. So when I told you we get energy in the form of ATP, it is generated by mitochondria. So mitochondria is present in every cell of our body, and this is usually how exactly it is present. This is a microscopic view. So if you go and see through the microscope, this is how you get an image of a cell. This is a clear image where this is a single mitochondria. Of course, there are DNA strands and everything else, but this is exactly how it looks under a microscopic view. So our CoQ10 is made by our body. It is very important for us to know. I told you our body produces CoQ10. Just like how we get it from the food sources, exactly the same way it is produced in our body. So we don't have to go through the entire biochemical process, you don't have to register it, but understand acetyl-CoA is an enzyme, coenzyme. It gets converted to HMG-CoA. So during all this process, after the conversion that takes place, CoQ10 is produced. From acetyl-CoA to HMG-CoA, these are coenzymes like I told you. During the conversion, during the process, CoQ10 is produced as a byproduct during the production of cholesterol. So when we know our body produces cholesterol. How is cholesterol produced in our body? Acetyl-CoA helps in producing cholesterol, and during the process of cholesterol production, CoQ10 nutrient is also produced. Why did I show you this image? In a further slide, I will exactly tell you why we need to take this CoQ supplement. Why is it? I've already told you, during the chemical processes that food goes through, or the steroids that animal has been fed with, or during the metabolism process that takes place in our body, CoQ10 is lost, and that's the reason we need to take supplement. But even in our body, during the process, like during the metabolism process that takes place, or when our body, during the cholesterol production, also CoQ10 is lost. In what way? We will look at that in a further slide. So CoQ Energizer is a soft gel, and it contains these three important ingredients. Of course, CoQ10 is present. It helps in supporting vitality and energy level. It helps in producing energy, supports healthy aging and longevity. Along with it, it also contains vitamin E, and it also contains bioperin. Bioperin is of course a patented ingredient, so of course you will not get to see this ingredient in any of our other products. So first question everyone asks is, what is so different in our supplement compared to other supplements? You can clearly see it does not only contain CoQ10, along with it, it also contains vitamin E, which is a powerful antioxidant, and there is no question about bioperin. Bioperin is only in our supplement, and bioperin of course helps in absorption of any nutrient that is been given with or associated with. So this is what our product is how it is unique, because it has all these 3 important ingredients that helps the cells get its energy so that it could perform at its best. So, and of course it is safe for patients especially diagnosed with diabetes, insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. We know CoQ Energizer is being used specially for people with heart condition, or especially for giving energy to the cells, but it also can be given for this is something we have learned new today. People who have diabetes, people who have insulin resistance is again, a body produces good amount of insulin, but our cells are so weak that it cannot absorb that insulin. That's when insulin resistance takes place. And also for metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is again cluster of syndromes that takes place, like it can be diabetes, your cholesterol level going up, your blood sugar level, or your insulin resistance, obesity. So these are all, when it takes place simultaneously one after the other. If I get diabetes, then if I'm obese and I'm getting diabetes, and my cholesterol is also increasing, again there's insulin resistance, everything takes place together. This is when we call it as metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is of course completely different from individually like just getting diabetes, just having cholesterol, just being obese. These are all different separate factors, but if all these factors are coming together simultaneously, that's when we call metabolic syndrome. And of course India is a capital city of diabetes, so especially for people with blood sugar level, they can also use CoQ Energizer because it has shown its best result, especially in these people. Also coenzyme Q10 is necessary for the cell process of energy production. Like I told you, every cell in our body requires energy and it helps in that process. Cell membrane, whether it is mitochondria in the cell or proteins that includes enzymes and lipoproteins and chromosomes, every cell or every enzymes that is present in our body requires energy, and CoQ Energizer helps these enzymes or membranes, cell membranes, to get that energy. Especially important for adults who are taking statin medication. Now what is statin medication? We all must have heard about statin medication, especially people with cholesterol, people who have high amount of cholesterol in our body. They have been given, the doctors suggest them statin medication. They are in different form, like for example lipostatin, atorvastatin. These are all different types of statin medication. This is specially given for those people who have high cholesterol level in their body. So you remember me showing you this image of how cholesterol is produced in our body and how CoQ10 is produced as a byproduct. So when people have high amount of cholesterol in their body, doctors suggest give them statin medication so that their cholesterol level can reduce. So when people who have cholesterol take statin medication, what happens is the conversion, the process, the coenzyme from acetyl-CoA 2 gets converted to HMG-CoA. After that, the conversion or the processes stops, because statin makes sure that because if you have a lot of cholesterol in your body, it has to bring it down, right? So when you take statin medication, it helps to bring the cholesterol level down, which is a good thing. But what is happening during this process? Even CoQ10 nutrient is also being lost. In a good way, cholesterol is reducing when we are taking statin medication, but along with it, CoQ10, which is an important nutrient for every cells to get energy so that it could perform at its best, is also lost. So it is very important for people who take statin medication to take a CoQ10 nutrient supplement. That's why CoQ Energizer is one of the best supplement that we usually suggest for people who have cholesterol in their body. In fact, a doctor has also written a theory and stated that supplementation with coenzyme Q10 improves semen quality parameters. So, not just for sugar level, not for metabolic syndrome, not only for aging purpose, or not only for cholesterol level, not only for people who take statin medication should be taking these supplement, but people who have poor semen quality should also be taking. And in fact, when he did a theory, when he did a research, this is what he stated, because it helps in improving the sperm density, sperm movement and normal sperm shape, as well as improves pregnancy rate. So we all know, for women to get fertilized, egg or ovary egg in her body should fuse with the sperms. So for improve the quality of sperms, this this supplement CoQ Energizer plays an important role, especially in reducing the infertility rate. It is also important in healthy adults as they grow older. Yes, our body, we kind of lose energy, but our cells, they still require that energy and they still require CoQ10 nutrients. So adults also should be taking this supplement. It energizes our body and increases our tolerance for exertion, revitalizes our immunity system. It helps in making us feel better. We don't feel tired very often. It helps in building our immunity. Also it helps in reducing the aging that takes place in our body as we start growing older. Especially when we start growing older, our skin sags, we lose our hair quality also reduces. These are all aging factors that takes place as we start growing older. So to reduce all this, coenzyme Q10 plays an important role, and our supplement CoQ Energizer has this properties in them. It also helps in strengthening the heart and cardiovascular system. Not only helps in reducing cholesterol, especially for people with heart condition, they have to take CoQ Energizer because it helps in strengthening the heart and cardiovascular system. It optimizes the blood pressure without any side effects. Blood pressure, again, it can be both hypo or hyper. If it's high blood pressure or low blood pressure, it helps in bringing it to the normal state. It controls or even reverses gum diseases. So we all know the benefits CoQ Energizer has. It not only helps in reducing cholesterol, not only helps in bringing sugar level down or making insulin sensitive in our body, within our body, for metabolic syndrome people, for them not to not to go through a very traumatic situation, for people with metabolic syndrome or people with diabetes or people with insulin resistance, people with cholesterol or blood pressure, along with them people who have gum diseases, or even for aging factor, to reduce that, CoQ Energizer plays an important role. So it is a supplement with multi benefits. It contains multi benefits in them. Some scientists see good evidence that improving the cell levels of CoQ10 has given additional health benefits that are generally known. But the problem with CoQ10 nutrient is it is poorly absorbed in our body, hence it has to be taken in a supplement form. And manufacturers continuously strive to improve the observation and bioavailability of CoQ10 supplement. So like I told you, there are so many supplement that helps in giving energy to our cell, and it contains CoQ nutrient, but whether our body absorbs it completely, whether our body is able to use it, we do not know. That's why CoQ Energizer supplement has been specifically made so that our body can also absorb that CoQ nutrient that it contains. In fact, our R&D, our research and development team has done several experiments to increase the bioavailability of CoQ10. That's why they have also added bioperine in them, because bioperine is one ingredient that has been extracted from black pepper that helps in increasing any nutrient that it has been added with. So in this also, to increase the bioavailability of CoQ10, it has been used, bioperine is also been used, so that it can be completely absorbed, and this our R&D team have done clinical study and has proven it, that it can increase almost up to 30% of CoQ10 within our body. If you go to see this image graph, it clearly shows a blue line is basically people who have taken CoQ10 with bioperine, and the red line is basically those population of people who have taken CoQ10 without bioperine. So you can clearly see how the population who have taken CoQ10 with bioperine has seen an improvement in absorption of CoQ10 nutrient in them. So when I am talking about CoQ10, it is basically this clinical study is of course made by using CoQ Energizer. So CoQ Energizer has CoQ10 in them. So when the population, two groups in which CoQ Energizer with bioperine has been taken, another group has taken CoQ Energizer without bioperine, you can clearly see CoQ10 coenzyme has been completely absorbed within our body, especially when it is taken with bioperine. So this is what our CoQ Energizer is all about. It helps in improving it has the best bioavailable formulation because it has bioperine in them. It has superb formulation because it has CoQ10, it has vitamin E, along with that it has bioperine present in them, and it helps in boosting the cell energy. It helps in increasing the cell energy so that our body has enough of energy to do day-to-day process. So this is all about our product CoQ Energizer. If you have any doubts or if you need to send any kind of feedback, you can always mail us at stlive@samidirect.com. Make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you are always notified before we come up with our product, or before we could notify you about which product we would be training you for. And again, no copyright violation. Forward it, upload it on your page. Also make sure that you do not do it. You do it in its original form and you do not do any kind of violation in it. Thank you.